doctors do in the free time?
So I'm not sure what all doctors do, but for me, I like to kind of stay active. So I do a lot of running. I coach a high school cross country team. So that takes up a lot of my time, and then my own training.
How many cups of water should you drink during a day?
So water, the guidelines say about 8 cups, 8-ounce glasses of water a day, and that's fine. That's a good guideline to go by. I like to say that you should drink water when you're thirsty, because if you drink too much water, then you can just be kind of depleting yourself.
Which foods are rich in iron?
In iron, yeah. So for iron, you want to think red for the most part. Okay, you want to think red or you want to think dark green. So your meats are going to be high in iron, like your beef, your venison, your chicken, your fish. They're going to have a lot of iron. But if you're trying to get away from meats, and actually for a more bang for their buck, so what I mean by per calorie ratio, like your leafy green vegetables are really good. Spinach, kale, really good. Broccoli is really good for iron. And then your red foods like strawberries, beets are very good for iron. And actually watermelon, it's got a lot of iron in it. Red beans and stuff like that too. Like if you're, for the non-meats, you want to think anything red or anything dark green.
Okay, water's really boring. There's tasting, it's like, all right. So what should you drink instead of water that's like a healthy choice still?
There's really nothing better than water. I think that there's no like substitute for water. Even juices, like you would never drink or eat 8 oranges. So it doesn't make sense to me to have a cup of juice that is equivalent to 8 oranges worth of juice. So if you don't like the taste of water, which fortunately for me I do, like I really enjoy water, so I don't really like pop or anything, but you can throw some cucumbers in water, you can throw some strawberries in water, some people put celery in it. You can kind of mix up the water with lemon or lime or pretty much anything that you like the taste of and just put it right in there, and it actually makes it taste much better. And for people who want like a little bit more flavor, I think that's a good way to go. The other way that you can go is green tea. I think green tea is pretty good. So if you like tea, you can brew a big batch of it and then drink it cold, or you can drink it warm and take it in a thermos. But outside of that, I think that you're kind of, anything else, you're kind of going along the lines of you're increasing calories, you're getting sugars most likely. So you kind of want to stay away from, or at least limit your consumption.
So can you give me a healthy breakfast, like an example of a healthy breakfast?
Yeah, so I mean, oatmeal in and of itself is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with oatmeal. Plain oatmeal, you put some raisins in there.
Some sugar.
Yeah, raisins have got some sugar in it. Yeah, if you want to load up with the brown sugar, then you start to borderline a little bit. But oatmeal is a good option. Also, what I like to do for like a lot of flavor is take eggs with a little bit of butter and spinach and feta cheese. And it sounds kind of funky, but really, if you cook the spinach down and then add the eggs and scramble them up with the feta, it's a great breakfast. It tastes wonderful, and it's good for you.
All right.
Yeah.
What is the difference between dynamic stretching and static stretching?
Yeah, so this is a hot topic the last couple of years for warming up, and because there's a lot of new research that's come out. So static stretching is anything where you stretch and hold. So for instance, this would be like a static stretch for my wrist or for my finger. It's a static stretch for my finger. Whereas a dynamic stretch would be something where if I had something resisting against me, I'm pushing against and moving through a range of motion. Okay, so I get muscle activation here while continuing to open up the joint and get some strength through the full range. Versus static stretching, we're just tightening on these muscles. So with static stretching, you get what's called muscle inhibition. So the muscles that you stretch actually go to sleep to a certain extent. Neurological, or the nerves that come to these muscles, they get a little bit overloaded and then they quiet down. So if I were to stretch my hand like this and I were a piano player, I would actually get some weakness in the flexors of my hand when I go to play piano. So you wouldn't be as crisp of a sound, you wouldn't have as quickness to change keys or change chords, so it's not the greatest thing to do before exercise. The same thing is true for running or softball. Softball pitchers, if they're doing static stretching of their pectoralis muscle, where they're just holding this position, then they're getting some inhibition of these muscles. So then when they go to throw a pitch, and we need these muscles to contract very quickly, the muscle is not there to work as fast. So dynamic stretching is the way to go, hands down, before exercise. So something where you're doing a little bit more activation, and then you can start to get full range, and then move out of that, and full range and move out of that. Or if you're doing like a pec stretch, it can be something where you open up the shoulder and then come back in and activate the pectoralis muscle, so it looks more like this, which is, again, I'm getting length through the tissues, the joint is opening up through the full range, but I'm also getting some strength here. So then when I go to throw a ball, I have the whole capacity of my pec muscle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so.
And, okay. Yeah, that's actually all my questions.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know I need someone. Help! When I was younger, so much younger.